setting up your LLC is very important, especially to getting the maximum amounts of funding, right? And what's cool though, once you guys get this and you kind of understand it, you can do this multiple times because this isn't just how to set up an LLC. This is how to set up a bank facing business, right? Which means that you can actually take this business to the bank and they will give you a loan. They will give you some money and you'll be able to good to go. Yeah, here, cat. So let's just get into it. So it's basically start your LLC. This is the blueprint. Okay, so the number one reason or the number one thing that you can do to secure the best loan is to make sure your business looks like a low risk borrower to lenders, right? That's all that the banks care about. They just want to, their job is to loan money. They want to loan money, but they just don't want to give it out to risk it, right? That's how the banks make money though. So they want to be a real one. So this is what we're going to go through. Make sure your business name, get your business licenses, get your EIN, have a physical address, separate business phone number, website, public records. All right, so we're going to get into it. What lenders want to do is lend to a credible business. So the goal is to make your business as credible as possible. So pick your name wisely. This is kind of what you were just talking about. And the best thing that we can do to pick your name wisely is not be part of any of these high risk industries, right? This is going to be where you basically can save yourself up front as opposed to going into this business and getting denied by the banks, right? It doesn't matter what your name is. It doesn't matter what it is. If you accidentally pick one of these names or one of these industries that is a very high risk, you're not going to get any funding, right? The banks are just automatically going to say, no, that's a high risk bank. It doesn't matter how good they look on paper. It doesn't matter if they have all the this, that, and the other thing. They're not going to lend to you. So you don't want to have any of these words in your business, and you don't want to basically insinuate that you're even in these industries, which is, a big one for people is real estate, because they come to us, they want the funding for the real estate, but then when they go to the banks, their business is called, Tony's Real Estate LLC, and the banks see that and they say, it's too high risk for us, right? And like real estate is just high risk because there's just a lot of people that want to be in real estate that don't make any money, or they basically can't afford the payments, so they just don't want to lend it to people. But what's weird is that the banks would rather you own real estate. They just don't want your business to be just in real estate. Another one is transportation. We have a lot of truckers that come into our company, and then they have, worldwide transportation. And the way that we get around this is we just say, oh, we're a consultant, right? Or we're a marketing company, or we're logistics or something. Like you just basically want to not have these sort of words in there. Another one that's high risk is, pawn shops, gambling, anything that has to do with the marijuana industry. These are all the like red flags to the banks, and the banks basically won't give out the bag for any of these companies. So right off the bat, you want to make sure that you aren't like saying that you're in any of these. So you can say like enterprise, you can say worldwide, you can be kind of very generic, right? So it's fine to put your name and then just say that you're a consultant. But these are the main industries that you want to stay away from, or you don't necessarily, your business can be in them, but you don't want your name to be a dead giveaway that you're in one of these businesses. And it's just the way the banks are set up. I don't make the rules. This is just what we found from lots and lots of different studies. Okay. So now we want to talk about how to buy your business phone number. And this is like prior to getting your LLC set up. So before your LLC, we really want to, get yourself a phone number. The ones that I recommend is Ring Central. So they are like $20 a month. But you basically want to set up like a most basic one, really, that all you need is just like a business phone number, right? And they'll do your emails if you wanted to as well. But I pretty much just use them for phone numbers, and we redirect the phone number to my personal phone number. But on all the websites that are out there, you'll have a Ring Central phone number that just redirects to your personal phone number. And this looks professional because it's going to be like a 1-800 number, or it's just going to look better. So you just do the $20 package over here, unlimited domestic calling, blah, blah. So that's the first thing you want to do. And again, like we're just trying to make it so that whenever we apply for 0% interest credit cards, it looks like we're legit, right? Whatever's on the application. And actually, I was looking inside of our Mighty Networks here. So if you go to the feed here, we actually have a list of 0% interest business credit cards. Right. So these are the 0% interest ones. I really like the Chase card. Whenever you're looking at the business's account, let's just go Chase business credit card. Questions that they ask you are going to be the ones that are important, right? And this is just like so that we know why do we need a weird phone number? Why do we need a weird address? Well, it's because whenever we want to go and get these business credit cards, these are the questions that they ask on the form, right? This is more one that's going to reflect on your personal credit. But we need the business info. We need how the LLC is set up. We need the legal name, and then who owns it. Does it have any trademarks? We need the EIN number. We need to have a physical address, right? Which is what we're going to get into next. We need to have a business phone number. That's why they care. And then usually they actually want you to have more employees. It's kind of interesting. Whenever we apply and we say we have more than 5, we are more likely to get approved because it's something about businesses that have less than 5 typically fail, right? So there's just weird stuff that we learned. And then the age of the business is kind of important, but I'm going to show you guys how to bypass the age and get the funding faster. Annual revenue, obviously. Business category. This is what we were talking about. If we're in some of these high risk industries, they're not going to want to lend to us, right? So this real estate one here, this is a trap, right? So on and so forth. So Ring Central is what I like. The other ones that we can also do, I used to use Google Voice numbers. I don't really recommend that actually anymore. But you can get a 1-800 number with voice freedom. You can get a Nexta for $20, a Grasshopper for $26. Okay. And the next thing is going to be the physical address, right? So a lot of people basically try and just use their home address. And I'm going to be advising against that. If all you have is your home address, it's fine. But if you have the time to set this up correctly, you want to have a more business facing appeal, right? It's like when the banks look you up, they'll know where you're at and what you're looking for. So let's just see. Actually, I was messing around with this yesterday. So like as opposed to, looking at your house address whenever people look up your address online, it's better to have something that looks like this, right? That kind of pops up that like this is your business. It looks more legit. The banks are going to think it looks more legit, and you basically have a better chance of basically standing and getting approval, right? And we're making these to be bank facing. We're at some point we're going to go in front of the banks and say, "This is my business." They're going to look us up, and what are they going to see, right? That's all we want to see. We want to look as credible as possible. So then you click one of these, and you want to have a virtual office as opposed to the other one. So this is going to be like $40 a month, but it's going to have all the information. Oh, they actually come with a phone number too, so you don't have to do the Ring Central. So you can do it all in one bundle here. And you would just do iPostal. So iPostal is pretty good. There's also Regis. There's a couple other ones. What do I got? I got Regis, Opus. The UPS business address. I don't actually recommend because this is just it's just a PO box, right? So when they look you up, they're not going to see an actual business address, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to say. Those like you want to have a real physical address or a virtual office. That's the main thing. Like virtual office is going to be the key reason when the banks look you up that they're going to get approved. And like this, the reason that all this is so important is because if you think about the banks, right, they're just there, and 80% of all the applications that go into the banks online, because it's 24/7, 7 days a week, are all fraud, right? They're all fake people putting in fake information, trying to get money from the banks. So the number one reason why the banks will deny somebody is just because they don't look legit. They look like a faker, right? So we want to look as legit as humanly possible to the banking businesses. And again, like it may seem like a lot of work, but this is just in the beginning. Once you have this all set up correctly, it's all going to be a lot easier, and you're going to be able to get a lot more funding down the road. Okay. Now you're going to want to buy your website. Lately, since Google stopped selling domains, I just do namecheap.com. I really like Namecheap. It's kind of cool. I'm actually going to be starting another couple businesses. So we'll just do business consultant or whatever. And then like it just pops up, right? And you can do your email through these guys as well. And they're kind of cheap, and you'll be able to figure out, okay, what's going to be the name of my business. They actually have like a generator, you can say, funding. They'll generate a bunch of different ideas for what you should name your website, blah, blah, blah. So Namecheap is what I've been using to buy my domains. SiteGround is what I use to build all my websites. And again, I like SiteGround just because I have 18 different websites all hosted on one platform, all made on WordPress. If you guys are new to making websites and you don't want to overthink it, I would just use Wix.com. And we can also build your website for you. Wix is super easy though. And I'm pretty sure you can even get started with a free website with them. And you just kind of click and drag and drop and stuff like that. You just have to make an account. But I like Wix. And then the only other one that I would say maybe would be Shopify, right? But you want to buy your domain. And you want your domain to be kind of similar to the name of your business because you're going to use the domain to be your email, right? And the email is going to be, you guys see my emails. It's robert@creditleveragex.com. And then if you guys see any of my other businesses, I use the same email. And it's because whenever you put your name on one of these applications, if your business email isn't the same as your business, it's going to be a red flag to the banks, and they're not going to want to lend to you. Okay. Let's look at one of these other ones that I know are 0%. So these are the Elons. I know. Let's see. Capital on tap. And again, this isn't just like, this is just so like we can, when we go to do more business funding, we can get you more business funding that is not attached to your personal credit at all. And again, the way that we stack up business credit cards is we have more accounts reporting to our business credit. And the higher we can get, once you get above 10 to 12, that's when you can really start to go and apply for more of these things. Okay, so we'll get into that later. But basically, set up your business email, set up your domain. Okay, and then now it's time to actually buy your LLC. Okay, so Bizee.com, LegalZoom, Zen Business. I'll actually walk through one of these right now. So if you go into Mighty Networks, you go to set up your business. You guys will see the video that I did last time. Set up your business for funding. You can click this little link here, or you'll just click the link below. So this is InkFile. They got bought up by Bizee. I don't know why. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but it happened. They're still the same. So we'll start over. I just wanted to show you guys the different ways to set this up, right? So you're going to get an LLC or an S Corp or a corporation. These are actually better for taxes if you want to really separate yourself, but the LLC is all we really need. I would just keep it simple in the beginning, and then you can always change it to an S Corp. So you get all this extra stuff. You pretty much can just start with the $85 filing fee. No matter where you go, you're going to have to do the filing fee, right? It just is what it is. And it's always good to have your phone number for the business and your email for the business and your address for the business before you buy the LLC. You don't want to just buy the LLC without the other stuff. It doesn't make any sense. Because now you're actually going to input it into this thing and it's going to show you. So I just want to show you guys the NCIS codes. Let's see if I can actually get to it. It's going to make me put all this crap in. Arizona. Oh, that's true. And then it also tells you guys what NCIS codes or codes I recommend. So let me just see. So here's where you would put your LLC name that you're looking to do. You're going to select the entity that it's going to be. Number of owners, it's just going to be you typically. The purpose of the business in 100 characters or less. Last time what I did is I just did Chat GPT. I said, hey, talk about my business. And then it's going to say, what industry is your business in, right? Let's see if e-commerce. So here's all the NCIS codes. E-Trader, E-Earth, there's just so many of them, right? So the one that I always recommend is also inside of Mighty Networks. You go to get funding, you go to this feed. I think it says right here. So the one that I always recommend is going to be 54166 or 6110, right? Copy. And it's because this is for, right? So this is consulting. And we're just going to say administrative management consulting services. And I just like this one because I know it works and I know the banks aren't going to be mad about what industry I do. I want to see if I can Chamber of Commerce.
Where do we find that number, you say?
So it's inside of Mighty Networks. So you go to get funding. I think it's supposed to be in the setup business, but it is what it is. And there's this little tab called feed, and it has a lot of good information. But then down here at the bottom, it says have a 1-800 number, have your business email, recommended NAICS code. So it's 5416111, and then SIC code. And I just wanted to show you that so you guys see just how many different crazy ones there are. Consulting, marketing is good. You basically just don't want to do anything that's in those other high risk industries, right? If you're in one of those high risk industries, you're not going to be able to get approved for as much funding, and it's just going to be shooting yourself in the foot. And then they'll actually sell you an address too, but you want to make sure that it's a virtual office, not just a mailing address. Okay, and we're going to go back over here. Let me see if I can do this. So those are like the basics, right? Now you have your LLC, and then you also want to get business licenses. So I always thought the business licenses were kind of like a scam, but now I learn more. Whenever I go to apply for these different businesses, you can actually get lines of credit based on if you have the business licenses. So if you want to get a business license, there's a couple ways that you can go to, but typically once you set up your LLC, or if you set up your LLC with that biz office, they're going to just send you the paperwork to do it. And you can basically do it also by just basically going to SBA.com, and I'll put this link somewhere so you guys can find it. But once you get your business licenses, they're like 25 bucks. They're just going to help you look more legit, right? Because we're trying to look as legit as possible to the banks. So if we have business licenses, it's going to look a lot better to the bankers than to some bankers. Now, some places that doesn't matter, but when we're trying to set up our original lines of credit, we want to make sure that we have as much as we can to make our business look as bona fide as possible. So make sure you get business licenses. Okay, now you have your LLC, you have your stuff. Now let's go to Dun and Bradstreet, right? So Dun and Bradstreet. Now it doesn't cost any money to have a Dun and Bradstreet account. So you go to get a Dun's number, and you basically are going to fill out all this information. And it's pretty straightforward. Dun is going to be like your main thing that you're going to be able to log into and check your credit. And you're going to be able to do a lot of different things with the Dun and Bradstreet. But you want to get this set up as soon as you can so that you can basically scale your business.
So Rick will be there. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming in.
All right, cool. So Dun and Bradstreet number. I don't know why there's like this weird red line. Get to know Dun & Bradstreet. If you ever are trying to get charged for Dun & Bradstreet, you're doing the wrong thing. And the other thing with the Dun & Bradstreet company, I love Dun & Bradstreet. They're an amazing company. But once you set up a Dun & Bradstreet number, if they ever call you and tell you that you need to buy some stuff with them, do not listen to them. They are a scam. They get sued all the time. But you do need to have a Dun & Bradstreet number because it's going to help your business. So once you get your Dun & Bradstreet number, get a Dun's number, you're going to be able to make it happen. So step one, you just fill out this information. You want to make sure you have your LLC first, and then you're going to be able to get started. I have a US-based business. I have a Canada-based business. It's kind of cool. You can do it in Canada. You want to put your business zip code in. You want to put your business name, and then you're going to be able to fill this out, and you're going to be able to get your Dun & Bradstreet number. Okay. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to open up a business bank account, right? So in order to have a business bank account, you need your articles of organization, your EIN number, driver's license, operating agreement, and select banks, and then $100 to deposit. And you want to make a checking and a savings. It does not matter what bank you go with, but I would recommend more of a local credit union as opposed to, that's not true. It's either Chase, Bank of America, or just do like a local credit union. But you want to make sure that whatever bank you go to has business credit cards available, right? If you go to a local credit union and they don't have any business credit cards, there's literally no point. Or it just doesn't make as much sense. You'd rather go for a business that has business credit cards so that you can apply and you can make it work for them later. Okay, next. Now you do want to open up a merchant account. That's going to be Stripe, WooCommerce, or Square. And what's cool about it, if you really are making a legit business, right? You need a way to get money from customers into your business bank account. The other thing that we can do though is if we have a lot of, like if you start to make a lot of money, you can actually just get funding based on your merchant accounts. And the merchant people that'll give you credit towards your funding, they don't care what your credit is. They don't care what your business is doing. All they care about is how much money is your business making on a regular basis. And then they'll give you a loan based on how much you're making. Typically, it's like 70% of whatever you make on a monthly. They'll give you a loan up front, and then you just pay them back every month or whatever you agree to. Now, there are some funding companies that actually take advantage of this. And they'll set up a Stripe account for you, and then they'll just start doing, $100,000 on that Stripe account over and over and over for like 3 months, and then they'll get you the funding, and then they'll stop. But I don't really recommend that. That's kind of super risky. But if you do have one of these merchants set up, and you can actually start to make some sales, and you can actually make some money in your business, this is a great way to start to get some additional funding and have proof more that your business is legit. Now, this is a big one. You want to make sure your records are consistent everywhere. Okay. So that means that we set up that phone number. The name of your business, your phone number, your business email, they need to be the same on all platforms. This is for SEO. This is for bank accounts. This is for the automated banking system. Whenever the banks try and pull your information, if it has a different spelling of a name in one place or a different address of a name in the other place, if it has a bunch of stuff missing, then they're not going to approve you. So you want to make sure that you have the same name, same email, same phone number on all websites, all social media accounts, and also business directories. You can just do 411. You can kind of look them up, but you want to become a real business in your town because it's just going to help you, especially if you go to local credit unions, right, that have business credit cards. If they see that your business is in the business directory near them, they're more likely to give you business funding, right? Just a little gem, a little nugget that we've kind of found. Proximity, right? The banks that are in your area, if they see that your business is legit, they're going to give you more money. Okay. And then once you do that, you also want to set up some trust websites, okay? Because people are actually looking you up now. So you want to have a Google Maps maybe a trust pilot. You want to be with the BBB. I think the BBB is a scam, but I get all these customers that are always like, why aren't you on the BBB? So now we're on the BBB. So because like it's just another way to make yourself look legit, make your company look like it's a real business. And then you want to have a social media. When I went to one of these events that I went to recently, we were having drinks with somebody who works at SoFi, and SoFi is one of the biggest up and coming banks. I actually really like SoFi. They're giving out great loans and great credit cards. It was interesting that he was telling me that whenever they do strictly business credit, they now are looking at your website, they're looking at your financials, and they're seeing if you're legit and online and on social media. Now, that's not always the case, but he was saying that that's kind of the route that they're going because there's just too much scams out there. They want your business to look legit. And then if you really want to go above and beyond, we can actually get you professionally prepared financial statements, right? And this is kind of sneaky. Right? Not really sneaky, but it's just another way. Like if you went into the bank and you have these professional finance papers, you're more likely to get a loan. And it's just based on perception and working with the underwriters and getting you the financials you need. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but it does help, right? And it's not necessary. It's just kind of to go above and beyond. Okay, so now your business is set up. Now it's time to get your first couple trade lines. And these are the top 7 that I recommend. The reason that I recommend these is because they're going to report to the business credit companies, right? It's going to report to Equifax. It's going to report to Dun & Bradstreet. It's going to report to Experian. And these are all basically lines of credit that are going to show up on your thing. So you go to Uline, you go to the creative CEO. Granger is one of those that'll give you a line of up to 25 grand if you have a business license, which is cool. Advanced Auto Parts, Credit Strong, Wex Fleet, and Home Depot. And the reason that I like these is because they report, right? There's a lot of business. You'll think you'll have a line of business credit, but you don't. And again, the way that business credit works is the more lines of credit that you can get that are just reporting to your business, when you go into the banks, you're more likely to get approved. Okay. And we know this because whenever I've been trying to get funding for my company, I would call, let's say, who did I go to recently? There's like a Macy's, there's a Lowe's, there's a Home Depot, and I would basically apply and I would ask them, hey, why did I get denied? Right. And I would literally call them for people and they would say, oh, you just don't have enough accounts reporting. Right. That means they don't care about my credit report. They don't care how much money I have. They don't care about anything. All they care about to approve me for business lines of credit is how many accounts do you have reporting that are attached to your business credit. Right. So that was basically how to set up your LLC correctly and how to happen. So like now we can use that as the base point so we can really start to scale. We can really start to grow.